does one assure that someone's feelings for them are true? Do they have to go the extra mile to prove their love? Dessa, a famous figure in the witches' village, may have asked the same. She involved herself in human affairs and established her own country. However, despite her list of achievements, her own people looked down on her. In the Calic Empire, Dessa, the Great Witch and the first Empress, makes a bet with her lover, the Emperor. To prove his love, he must find her among the ladies who share her face, within 5 years. If he succeeds, despite her wariness of humans, she vows to forsake her powers and immortality to become human, just to be with him. The Emperor's imperial decree fills the streets with whispers and gossip. Knights roam around the empire, carrying the Empress's portrait as they search for her. A hooded girl overhears 2 women talking. If the Emperor fails, he will still crown the last woman he chooses as Empress, and some women willingly participate in the bet. She removes her hood and asks him where she can participate in the bet. 35 days later, she arrives at the palace crowded with women. The guards order the participants to enter the room. Everyone looks like Dessa. As she enters the magical door, her face transforms into Dessa's. She must have cast a magical spell to make everyone look alike. When will she meet her? Suddenly, the guards announce the Emperor's arrival. The grand doors open, but the Emperor isn't there. Shock and worry fills the room, but she hears a faint laugh. A girl points at the Emperor from above. His Chancellor, Morris, announces that they will be split into the East and West Palace and ranked by their first impressions. As the guards divide them, other women squeal with excitement, but she wonders how she'll persuade the real Dessa to return to the witches' village, preventing her from becoming human. I wonder what journey lies ahead for this girl. At the dining table, she exchanges names with a girl named Anya. She then introduces herself as Arit, wondering if Anya is the real Dessa. Anya invites her for a stroll. After they eat, Anya shows her around the palace, including the flower garden, but Arit hesitates and grows suspicious of Anya. How does she know the layout of the palace? Seeing her hesitate, Anya realizes she also isn't the Empress. Arit points out Anya's similar demeanor as the Empress, hoping she'll be chosen, but Anya only smiles. She shares that she's the younger sibling of one of the Emperor's guards and knows her identity, and eventually the Emperor will know her identity. If that's the case, is she a spy on the Emperor's behalf? I like her intuition. Moments later, women from the West Palace gather, eating pastries and chatting. Arit sighs in disappointment. It's been a month and she still hasn't met the Emperor. Anya tells Arit that her brother knows about her. Suddenly, everyone gathers at the door. It's Morris. He thanks them for their patience and announces that the Emperor will meet them according to their order. Each day, 4 women will spend an hour with His Majesty, at breakfast, lunch, dinner, and at night. He reminds them to check their order as Captain Carl will be guiding them. Anya whispers to Arit, saying Captain Carl is her brother. She takes a glimpse of him and compliments his beauty. Anya must be as beautiful as her brother. He hears her squeal and glares at her. Anya nervously explains that he hates being called handsome since elite guards are chosen for both their skills and looks. Arit finds the custom odd. Is this what the human world is like? After Morris leaves, the women gather to check their order. Anya is scheduled for dinner and Arit for night, 1 day apart. Noticing Anya's expression, Arit asks why she dislikes dinner time. She puts on a frown, saying it's useless. Arit's suspicion of Anya being a spy deepens. If she's not a spy, there's no reason for her to join the bet. And if she truly wanted to participate, she could have kept her identity without her brother knowing. Anya interrupts her thoughts, asking her if she wants to become the Empress. Empress? Does she look that ambitious? She's only trying to confuse the Emperor, to stop Dessa from becoming a human. She tells the truth to Anya. She's there to meet Dessa out of admiration for her. Anya's eyes sparkle as she holds Arit's hand, admiring her for her courage. Moments later, her expression shifts to worry and asks Arit if it wouldn't hurt her to see Dessa. But the thought of Dessa becoming human hurts even more. Suddenly, squeals of excitement from the other girls surround Chestnut, the first interviewee of the West Palace, as they eagerly ask what the Emperor's like. Chestnut excitedly tells them all about how the Emperor handed her a fan while blushing. In the background, Arit quietly wonders what's so special about returning a fan. She turns to Anya, her expression glum. She really doesn't understand humans. The next day, Arit's slumber is interrupted by a group of maids offering to help her get ready, even though her scheduled time to see the Emperor is at night. The maids insist she must get ready in advance. Not long after, they dress her in a silky white dress. Carl arrives and escorts her to His Majesty. As they walk, she finds the silence between them awkward. She strikes up a conversation and asks him what Dessa is like, but he ignores her. She asks again and he stops. He remarks her intelligence for trying to gather information about the Empress. What a prick! They continue to provoke each other along the way, and tension begins to fill the air. Do I smell chemistry here? After a while, they arrive and Carl leaves her. A slow clap catches her attention. It's Emperor Hartwan. He calls her by her name, impressed, saying she's the first to fight with Carl and invites her to walk with him. He reaches out his hand, but Arit gives him a high five. Caught off guard, he laughs hysterically, then apologizes and invites her to walk with him again. Starstruck by his beauty, Arit shamelessly stares, wondering if his beauty is worth sacrificing Dessa's immortality and powers. I agree with you, Arit. The Emperor catches her shameless stare and asks if she has anything to say, noting that the previous participants had plenty of questions. She pauses for a moment, then asks how he seduced Dessa. Seduced? He corrects her, saying Dessa seduced him. Arit refuses to believe his statement. She asks him again, but he simply repeats his answer. They spend their entire conversation arguing who seduced whom until a guard announces their time was up. Already? Time flies fast when he talks with her. Much to her dismay, he never explained how he seduced Dessa. She gets up, but he stops her, asking if that's really all she has to say to him. Before she leaves, she turns to him and tells him it's an honor for a human like him to be loved by Dessa. He turns to Carl, asking why he argued with Arit, then adds that she reminds him of Dessa when he first met her. Moments later, he asks if Anya's turn is scheduled tomorrow evening. Knowing she likes fish dishes, he orders him to prepare it tomorrow. When Carl takes his leave, he realizes that Arit is Anya's friend she talked about. The next day, Arit shares her argument with the Emperor to a group of girls, but Chestnut cheers her up by noting she had His Majesty for over an hour. How did she know? Arit explains they lost track of time, but the conversation shifts to another topic. Arit strolls around the palace, searching for traces of magic that might lead her to Dessa. As she bends down to a bush, Carl suddenly appears and asks her what she's doing. Why does he want to know? He confirms she's Arit, Anya's friend, then introduces himself as Anya's brother, though she already knows. He wonders why Anya describes her as a good friend when she is the exact opposite. She fires back, wondering what makes him a cool brother. He says it's been years since he last saw the Empress, but he'd surely recognize her. Arit gives him a disappointed look. If the Emperor can't find her, what makes him think he can? They argue while walking back to the palace. Once they arrive, Arit attempts to greet Chestnut and another woman, but Carl stops her. I'm starting to ship these two. I can feel their chemistry. They eavesdrop on their conversation about their suspicion that Anya is the Empress and Arit's time with the Emperor. If Anya wasn't Carl's sister, the Emperor would have been fooled. After the West Palace interviews ended, anxiety spreads through the palace. Outside the estate, Morris asks the Emperor about the participants. He admits it's hard to determine who the real Dessa is. It's most likely someone who's acting as the opposite of Dessa. He only has one chance. If he fails, he'll lose his Empress forever. He asks Morris for a better solution. Morris pauses and asks which participant stands out the most. It's Laura from the Eastern Palace, but she resembles Dessa so much that it's suspicious. Knowing Dessa is a witch, there must be one thing she can do that no human can imitate. Morris suggests testing Laura. If she easily passes, she's Dessa. If not, she's not her. A knight delivers a note to Laura, summoning her to the tower alone. The girls around Laura squeal with excitement, but Grace warns her not to go since there's no name on the note. The girls take it the wrong way, accusing her of being jealous. As Laura walks through the hallways, Grace pleads with her not to go. Something feels off. But Laura assures her and insists she knows exactly what she's doing. In the Western Palace, Katie, who joined for fun, returns with news from the Eastern Palace. Somebody received a secret meeting with His Majesty. Hearing the news, Arit worries. Has he found Dessa already when she gave him 5 years? Is Dessa going to become human? Questions fill her head until she notices Anya's uneasy expression and asks if she's okay. Anya, looking gloomy, quietly excuses herself and returns to her room. Arit digs for more information about this girl, Laura. The other girls gossip, saying she's an aristocrat and the secret meeting is happening at the tower. She gazes out the window, unsure if she should confirm Laura is the real Dessa. Should she let her find out she's a witch? In Laura's room, she uses a fragrance that Dessa uses. She's always admired the Emperor from afar, and now's her chance to become the Empress. With the fragrance, she's sure to win his heart. She walks to the tower and, to her surprise, finds the door open. She enters, wondering where His Majesty is. Then the door slams shut. In the hallways, Arit paces nervously, unsure whether to go to the tower. Suddenly, Anya appears and asks Arit if she's okay. Arit turns to Anya, noting her red face and unwell behavior. It's sad to see Dessa's face so down. Suddenly, Anya bursts into tears, startling Arit. She explains that she's worried about Laura and the Emperor, assuming that Laura is having the best time of her life. I'm really suspicious of Anya. 3 days later, it already seems like Laura is confirmed as the Empress. As Arit eats, she finds it odd that the dining table is mostly empty. A girl explains that everyone is waiting for Laura and His Majesty to come out of the tower. Suddenly, Katie rushes in frantically with terrible news. Laura is dead. Everyone surrounds Laura's lifeless body. They exchange whispers about the crying girl. She's the participant who found Laura. Morris orders the guards to move her body. If she were the real Dessa, she would have broken down the door or flown down, since Dessa is both a witch and a war hero. They inspect her body and notice the bruises around her neck. It seems like she died shortly after being locked up, though no weapon is found. He informs His Majesty that she was strangled from behind and showed no signs of struggle, meaning the culprit was someone she knew. The Emperor pities Laura. She had the most potential as the real Dessa. Still, he wonders, why would anyone kill the participant with the highest potential of being the real Dessa? Morris concludes the culprit is certain Laura wasn't the real Dessa. With 108 people from different backgrounds, he adds that it wouldn't be surprising if a criminal is hiding among them. With a smirk, Morris proposes an idea to identify the Empress. Let the participants compete without any restrictions. His suggestion leaves the Emperor confused. Compete? Morris explains to allow the participants to hunt and kill each other without restrictions. He claims that the last survivor would undoubtedly be the real Dessa, a true war hero. The Emperor finds his idea brilliant and approves it. Why do I have a bad feeling about this Morris guy? In her room, Arit wonders who the killer is. Suddenly, someone knocks. It's Anya, telling her that the knights are gathering the participants and they should go together. Distress and anxiety fills the room. What do they want to discuss? A disabled girl briefly catches Arit and Anya's attention, but suddenly, Morris calls everyone's attention. He clarifies that the Emperor never summoned Laura to the tower and regretfully reveals the culprit is one of them. He announces a new approach of choosing the Empress. Since Dessa was a war hero, the participants must kill each other without restrictions inside the palace. His announcement leaves everyone shocked. Are they insane? He adds that they'll have to keep fighting until the Emperor finds the Empress. But if anyone knows who she is, they're encouraged to turn her in and spare countless lives. But if they're not confident, they can withdraw from the bet. This method makes Arit furious. No doubt the Emperor approved it, knowing he won't worry about the real Dessa surviving since she's a great witch. Arit knows that she'll survive, but how is she supposed to find Dessa and keep her hidden from the Emperor? Some girls oppose the idea, refusing to kill and choosing to withdraw from the bet, while others are seriously considering it. If nobody participates, the new method can be avoided, but is that possible? After all, one of them already killed Laura. Wait, who is this girl in a red dress and a ponytail the manhwa is showing? Is this Dessa? Arit and Anya take a stroll around the palace, sharing their worries about the bet's new approach. Upset, Arit wonders if the Emperor thinks like that, but Anya quickly defends him, saying it's Morris who fills his head with twisted and unpleasant ideas. Although it's an effective method, it's disappointing that the Emperor approved it. Anya holds Arit's hand, assuring her that her brother will protect them, but Arit doesn't need any help. Seeing Anya tremble with fear, she vows to protect her too. In the background, Chestnut worries. Becoming the Empress is her only way out. Prison and creditors awaits her. She strategizes. She must stay out of Dessa's way and get rid of anyone who catches the Emperor's eye to increase her chances in becoming the Empress. Just to be safe, Arit casts a protection spell on her door and heads to Anya's room to do the same. But to her surprise, there's a guard outside her door. Carl must have been worried about her. She takes a stroll, hoping Anya isn't Dessa, and reflects on her kindness in protecting her. Is this what friendship is like? As she walks, she notices someone following her. She bends down, admiring the flowers out loud, and grabs rocks. She turns around, ready to throw the rocks, but to her surprise, it's Carl, gripping her arm. He grips on her arm, preventing her from throwing the rock, or should I say, rocks. She struggles to break free, calling him a coward for attacking her from behind. He lets her go and says he doesn't attack an unarmed person. She asks him why he's following her, and he explains that Anya asked him to protect her. Arit's expression softens, touched by Anya's kindness. She continues her walk, but he secretly follows her. Arit pauses, knowing he's behind her. Annoyed, she tells him one last time that she can protect herself, calling him an annoying human. Human? The next day, everyone is on edge. That little sound startled them. The atmosphere's tension is hard to ignore. Arit tries to act scared to blend in with others. At the dining table, she shares that Carl protected her, and Anya assures her that his swordsmanship is excellent. Suddenly, an unsettling feeling alarms her body. Someone broke in her room. She rushes to her room, certain the intruder isn't Dessa since the magic spell isn't broken. She enters her room, demanding the intruder to show themselves. Then Chestnut charges at her with a knife, but Arit knocks her out. Frustrated, she locks her away. She returns to Anya, explaining she had to go to the bathroom. She suggests having Carl send more guards, but Anya worries. The other participants might get the wrong idea. At night, Arit casts an invisibility spell on Chestnut, making her visible only to herself. She drags her to the garden, but two girls spot her and offer to join her evening walk. Arit politely declines, explaining that she just needs fresh air. Arit successfully drags Chestnut to the woods, certain she'll return to the palace on her own. The next day, Arit wakes up to the sound of commotion. She steps out of her room to find the two girls from last night, asking if she saw anyone suspicious last night. Carl informs Arit that Chestnut was found dead. OMG, what? Arit is in disbelief. She didn't hit her that hard. She asks how Chestnut died, but Carl turns to her with a blank expression. Then they tell her she was stabbed. Carl grows suspicious of Arit and asks the other guard if he noticed anything unusual about her, but he hasn't. She wasn't focused on the incident, but exactly how Chestnut died. At the garden, Arit considers using a tracking spell to find Chestnut's killer, but what if Dessa notices the traces of magic? Suddenly, the Emperor steps out from a bush, asking if she's scared since two people have already died. She replies, saying he encourages a bet knowing how terrifying it is. He finds her response ironic if she is the real Dessa. He says the greater risk, the greater the reward, leaving her confused. Then he adds that his existence is the best choice, leaving her with a disgusted look. He tells her that the next best choice is becoming the Empress, but she doesn't see what's so great about it when others are in danger because of it. He realizes she's Arit, the girl whose question caught him off guard. She comments about her aggressive logic, but he actually finds it cute. She clarifies that he shouldn't mistake her for the real Dessa because that's not why she's here. He leans in closer. Based from her statement, he concludes that she's the real Dessa. She blushes and pushes him away, firmly denying his allegation, then realizes she shouldn't have denied it. She's here to sabotage the bet. She gets up, but before she leaves, he advises her to try harder and pull her act together. She tells him that if she were truly acting like Dessa, she'd stay still, and he would come to her. She reminds him again that he seduced Dessa. Suddenly, he grabs her waist and leans in, giving her an example. A girl from the bushes catches their attention. Arit pushes him away and leaves. Back in the palace, she worries. Nothing seems to be going right. In a palace room, Anya and Arit share their tense experiences, noting how everyone is being cautious. Suddenly, a girl slams her hand on the floor, asking if this is really how things are going to be. I'd also be cautious if I participated in a brutal bet. She wants everyone to realize the murderer shouldn't scare 107 of them. Shouldn't it be 105 since 2 are already dead? Anya speaks up in support of Katie, saying they must stop before they end up killing each other. Arit pauses, shocked to see Anya speaking up. Anya never wanted to stand out. A few girls slowly agree, and together they decide to find the murderer themselves. All the girls gather in a room, taking turns revealing their alibis when Chestnut was killed. It's Arit's turn. She reveals she went on a walk before Chestnut died. As expected, the girls grow suspicious of her. They interrogate her, but Tinsella and Claire, the girls who offered to walk with her that night, speak up in her defense. Chestnut was stabbed. A knife can be hidden but not blood, and Arit returned clean. As they discuss the weapon, somebody feels tense and uneasy. The girls continue revealing their alibis, but as expected, the murderer isn't confessing, leaving them to wonder if the murderer is even with them. Suddenly, they remember Regatta. She hasn't left her room on the first floor ever since. Some girls head to Regatta's room while others stay seated. Arit stays, not wanting to stand out, but behind the door, Carl eavesdrops. He walks through the garden, still bothered by Arit's response about Chestnut's death. He's so lost in thought he doesn't notice Morris continuously calling him from the fountain, reading. Carl notices and quickly apologizes. Morris asks what's on his mind, and he admits the participant's death still bothers him. Morris is confused why Carl is investigating when the Emperor allowed the killings. He leans in closer to Carl, warning him not to interfere in the participants' fight since the Emperor approves it. Is he going to arrest the murderer who legally did nothing wrong? Before Morris leaves, he orders Carl to deliver the books to his office. Carl tenses. Should he quit? I really have a bad feeling about this Morris. Anya tells Arit that Regatta is being locked in her room and the other girls stay watch, making Anya sad. Suddenly, Carl calls her attention, telling her he has something important to discuss. Arit hesitates to step aside from their sibling conversation, but she overhears Carl telling Anya if things get dangerous, she should just kill him. Anya looks confused. He informs her that Morris is stopping the investigation regarding Chestnut's death, and soon everyone will be killing each other. He advises her to survive, even if it means killing others. His advice catches Arit's attention. Absurd telling his sister to become a murderer. Carl glances at Arit, telling her there's no choice, and asks if it's any different for her. It isn't. Tension fills the air as they begin to argue, but Anya stops both of them. Suddenly, a loud scream comes from the palace. They rush to Regatta's room where everyone gathers. Regatta is dead with her neck slit. OMG, who could have killed her? Carl calms them as horror spreads. Terrified, Anya and Arit wonder if Regatta took her own life. From behind, chaos erupts. They fight each other and drag Carl in. Panicked, Anya tries to help Carl but is quickly dragged into the brawl. Moments later, as Arit aids Anya's bruise, Anya says she's strong for pulling them out of the brawl. Arit teases Carl. Some knight being dragged into a brawl, as if he's going to fight women. Seeing Anya's bruise and scratches, she decides to head to the infirmary to get ointment for Anya, excluding Carl. Once she leaves, Carl asks why Anya has to be friends with her. He advises her to be careful around Arit because he is suspicious of her. At the infirmary, she asks for ointment, but to her disappointment, they run out. The nurse suggests Arit go to the Central Palace infirmary to get ointment. She hands her a paper telling her to say the nurse's name and calls it an errand. Stepping out won't hurt. Can she finally leave? As Arit walks into the infirmary, she drifts into her thoughts. Carl said the brawl started between those against locking up Regatta and those who locked her up. No one's ever to confess. Some will attack aggressively while the survivors scatter more. She spots a familiar face. It's the Emperor. He asks where she's going, and Arit replies she's heading to the infirmary to get ointments. He checks her hand, showing concern. How ironic, coming from the man who started this brutal bet. He offers to walk with her, but she refuses. Then he quickly realizes she's Arit and asks for confirmation. How does he know? He reaches out his hand, offering to take her to the infirmary, but Arit gives him a high five, making him laugh hysterically. As they walk through the halls, Arit asks if he knows about the third participant's death, sharing her assumption that it was a suicide. He frowns, recalling the moment he begged Dessa not to proceed with the bet. But Dessa wanted to know something. He admits he doesn't find the bet enjoyable. Arit suggests him to back out. Dessa doesn't have to become human. After all, she fulfilled her duties as the Empress. He argues, saying she vowed as a witch and the bet's in motion. How could he possibly back out? Arit offers a solution. If Dessa reveals herself, she won't become human, but he won't end up with the wrong Empress. Either way, it's both a loss for Dessa, either giving up immortality and power or losing her Emperor. His expression stiffens after hearing her solution and postpones their walk. Did she say something wrong? You know, she actually has a point. Moments later, she arrives at the infirmary and gets the ointments. She returns to Anya and hands it over. From the side, Carl sulks, thinking she didn't get him any. Arit hands ointment to Carl, but he doesn't thank her and puts it inside his pocket. Suddenly, an unsettling feeling creeps in. Somebody broke into her room. She excuses herself and rushes to her room. She pulls out her sheets, leaving her surprised. They placed a black viper on her bed, but it slithers around her, feeling affectionate. Snakes are loyal to witches. A single bite could easily poison a human. In a fit of rage, she casts a spell to reveal the culprit, vowing revenge. To her surprise, the spell reveals a familiar royal guard. She pauses, then realizes it's a guard investigating Chestnut's death with Carl. Why would he target her? She thinks for a moment, then concludes someone's behind it, and they're dead to her. Arit stalks the guards from every angle. They notice, but don't seem to care. The other girls notice too, thinking Arit is taking a chance with the guards instead of the Emperor. Carl walks with the guards along in the garden, asking about the participants' sudden interest in them. Suddenly, a scream echoes from the bushes. Carl quickly recognizes Arit. She rushes toward the guard, demanding his time. He blushes, thinking she's interested in him. Carl glares, giving him 10 minutes with Arit, and she thanks him. They go somewhere private. Arit throws him against the wall and pulls out a knife, leaving him confused. She draws the knife to his neck, threatening him. She asks what he gains from trying to kill a participant. He instantly realizes it's Arit. He confesses in fear that Morris ordered him, saying he has something to test. But isn't he the one who planned this brutal survival bet? She questions him about the test, but he doesn't know. She lets him go and saves his life. All this time, the culprit was the Chancellor. See, I knew something was off about Morris. Moments later, Arit has tea with Anya, revealing that Morris ordered her death. Anya says he's an awful person, despite helping build the country. Arit asks for a way to meet Morris and plots her revenge, but Anya regretfully says it's difficult to meet with him. They say revenge never leads to anything good, but to witches, having a badass revenge is a virtue. Arit heads to the infirmary, acting cute towards the physician. She asks if there's any errands she wants her to do, hinting she wants to leave the Western Palace. To her disappointment, the physician won't budge. How petty. As she walks, she remembers what Anya said about Morris. Morris is known for his extraordinary intellect and strategies, but also possesses excellent swordsmanship that led him to victory in the Founding War. Anya refuses to believe her. She can't let that bastard get away. She storms out to the gardens, finding two girls whispering about her. The tense environment makes walking look suspicious. She tries to climb a wall to meet Morris, but gets stopped by a guard. She explains that she's waiting for a guard who has something to give her, but he doesn't believe her. She uses Carl's name, hoping he'll believe her. Since she knows the captain, he has no choice but to fetch him, though she offers to meet the guard instead. Arit is faced with guards blocking her way. She spots the guard, demanding to know where Morris is. He's at the Central Palace. She grabs him and demands to meet with Morris. Her eyes sharpen, threatening to kill him without guilt. In Morris's office, the guard frantically reports that Arit is most likely the Empress. Those who witnessed the witch Dessa felt fear from her murderous intent. He adds that Arit said the exact same words as Dessa when threatening him. Morris smirks. Killing Chestnut was worth it. He knew he targeted Arit, but Arit managed to successfully dispose of her without traces. Then he obliged to meet with her. I wonder if the Emperor knows about his doings. He meets her in a long hall. She's returning what he gave her. She pulls out the snake and it charges at him, but suddenly a magical mark appears. Morris has the witch's mark, a symbol given by a witch that deflects physical attacks. She can't attack him. It's a tradition not to cross someone with another witch's mark. She lets him go, telling him to be grateful for the witch's mark. Of all people, why did Dessa give the mark to him? If Dessa gave him that mark, they must be close with each other. Before she leaves, she threatens him, but he just laughs hysterically. Suddenly, Carl bursts through the doors, panting, and goes in front of Arit. Carl tells Morris the bet is between the participants and the Emperor, that he shouldn't get involved. Carl holds Arit's hand, and they both leave, leaving Morris to wonder why he's suddenly the bad guy. Carl releases her hand, apologizing for his rough behavior. He explains that Anya said Morris is targeting her, so he went to look for her. She notices he's drenched in sweat. Has he been running around just to find her? Touched by kindness, she asks Carl if he likes her, catching him off guard. He explains that Morris is a war fanatic. He won't let him use participants to satisfy his cruel desires. Before he leaves, he advises Arit to avoid him and stick with the other participants. Wait, is he actually worried about her? She jumps at Carl, teasing him for worrying when he's always picking fights with her. He blushes. His face is tomato red. He pushes her aside, saying Arit is Anya's first friend. In a noble family with an empty title, someone as innocent and kind as Anya never had friends, so she genuinely cares about her. Before he leaves, he asks her not to make Anya worry and warns her not to hurt her. She watches him leave, thinking innocent and kind Anya is. It seems like he doesn't truly understand his sister. She walks away, unaware that Morris is watching her. In Morris's office, the guard asks if he'll report Arit as the Empress to the Emperor. He might lose the bet. Morris replies that Arit is most likely the real Dessa, but it's not certain yet. Arit isn't necessarily the Empress, and that's what makes things interesting. It's the Feast of Saint Lagon, a day to honor the grace of the creator god, Lagon, and enjoy carrot cabbage soup. However, in the witch world, they perform ritual dances to embrace the power of the earth. Anya finds the parlor empty. Suddenly, Clarice asks Arit if she's had breakfast. She replies that she follows a different religion. So does Clarice, who doesn't like vegetable soup. They both follow a different religion and dislike vegetable soup? Is she a witch too? They head to the dining hall, hoping to find the other participants, but to their surprise, the girls are on the ground, unwell. Arit panics, rushing to help a participant and ordering Clarice to fetch the physician. Where is Anya? She spots her by the earrings she wears and embraces her. Moments later, the physician arrives and examines the soup. It's been poisoned. Amelia asks what will happen next. The physician begins explaining the girl's condition, but that isn't what Amelia meant. With a grin on her face, she clarifies, will those who die from poison be disqualified? The physician is unsure and rushes to Morris for an antidote. Morris is shocked to hear the poisoned soup. Finding the culprit won't be easy when the dining hall is open to everyone. Lacking skills, the physician asks Morris to make the antidote. He turns to her, calling her clever but lacking in manners. At night, Anya wakes up to find Arit asleep at her bedside. She wakes her up and Arit frantically asks if she's okay. Without hesitation, Arit hugs her and Anya embraces her back. 200 years ago, a group of witches, including Arit, found a girl frozen to death. Pity was the extent of sentiment they have for mortals. Back in Anya's room, she apologizes for hugging her too tightly and lets go. Anya comments on Arit's unwell appearance. She used up a lot of mana to cast a healing spell on her. If she didn't heal her, Anya would have died. She explains she's just exhausted, then asks if Anya remembers anything about the incident. But she doesn't recall. Who would dare to do something like this? The next day, the girls accuse Anya of poisoning them. She looks far better than the rest. Arit defends her, but it only raises more suspicion about Anya taking an antidote beforehand. The blame shifts to Arit. Suddenly, Carl stops the commotion and orders everyone back to their rooms to cool off. Outside the palace, Arit drifts to thought. She just wanted to save Anya, but it ended up getting her accused instead. Carl joins her, letting her know that Anya is resting. He comforts Arit, telling her not to let the negativity get to her. He's right, the culprit is to blame. She lightens up and vows that they should find the culprit, but Carl reminds her they won't be able to legally punish them. With determination, she vows to clear Anya's name. Her concern makes Carl blush. Moments later, Carl and Arit interrogate the chef while she wears a detective cap. They suspect the chef is favoring Katie since she gets along with everyone, but the chef denies this. Next, they suspect the food, but the chef nervously explains that the kitchen staff taste everything before serving it. They walk through the halls, suspecting the poison was applied to each plate. Carl shares his suspicion that the chef is hiding something. Arit agrees. If she wasn't worried about Dessa catching her magic, she would have used her magic to catch the culprit. She pauses, then realizes Dessa probably skipped the soup for the witch's ritual. This is her chance to find her. What if Clarice is Dessa? Less participants mean more clues in finding Dessa. The Emperor is probably thinking the same. She wonders if the Emperor knows what's happening and if he considers calling off the bet. Carl tells her there's something fascinating about her. Does he think she's special? He chuckles. He explains that most people would panic in a situation like this. Did a sudden sense of comradeship occur to him? She grabs his arm and asks him if he likes her. The Emperor stares blankly at his office until Morris walks in, asking if he's still unsure about the bet. He tries to cheer him up by sparking his curiosity with rumors. The first rumor claims Anya is behind the food poisoning, but they both know she isn't. Morris speaks as if he knows who the real culprit is. The second rumor claims Carl is dating one of the participants, catching the Emperor's interest. A twisted onion guy dating a participant? He's certain the participant he's dating isn't the real Dessa, but wonders who he's dating. Morris tells him it's Arit, leaving the Emperor stunned. Arit and Carl sit at the garden stairs, feeling lost. He turns to her and says he knows she's not the Empress. What makes him say that? Seeing the hundreds of crochet worth of dresses she's sitting on is a mess. However, if she's Dessa or not, that's besides the point. She looks at him, recalling his answer when she asked him if he likes her. When she first asked, he was shocked. The second time she asked, he avoided it. Does he really like her? No, she's just overthinking. Another person died from the poison, making the already tense atmosphere more heated. Suddenly, the Emperor walks through the garden in a serious expression. Carl and Arit approach him. Why is he so serious? The Emperor is surprised to see Arit. He notices she's gotten closer to Carl after their continuous arguments. Arit agrees with the Emperor, making Carl blush, his lips trembling, but then the Emperor's expression changes. The Emperor is so hard to read. He knows about their investigation about the food poisoning. What can Arit say? She has a strong sense of justice. If she's not busy, he invites her for a walk, reaching out his hand. But she is, and everyone assumes she's busy with Carl. She reads the room and agrees to walk with him. He reaches out his hand, making her wonder why he asks for high fives. Before she can slam her hand, he holds it and teaches her he's asking to hold her hand. He holds her hand tightly and takes her around the garden. Is she allowed to hold Dessa's husband like this? He remarks how she's oddly quiet, knowing she usually says weird things, but she explains she's being cautious of her surroundings. She pauses. There's something she's been meaning to ask him for a while now. She asks him why he isn't investigating the food poisoning incident and reveals that Anya isn't the culprit, despite what people think. He sighs and says it's to keep things fair. 7 people already died without investigation, so starting now will be unfair. He wonders why she's asking for an investigation and not treating the participants. Did she mess up again? She already treated Anya and she wants to clear her name. Why is he surprised? In Morris's office, Morris interrogates Seiko, the culprit of the food poisoning, trembling in fear. She explains that she has to compete, but excludes attacking the real Dessa since she won't be affected by the poison. Morris smirks, pointing out her intelligence. He stands up, advising her to use her intelligence in the right way, leaving her confused. Right way? She shares that Dessa was once poisoned and left unconscious for a month. Does he really think someone as clever as her didn't know that? Seiko should know that Dessa will be affected as well. She trembles in fear. If they find out she's targeting Dessa, she could be charged with treason for attempting to kill a member of the royal family. She bursts into tears, but Morris comforts her, offering help to make her show more entertaining. Ugh, why is he helping her? Sunlight enters Arit's room. She stays in bed, recalling her conversation with Carl about how the investigations aren't fair for the other participants. Carl says investigating the deaths would be hypocritical. The Emperor approved it in the first place. If they publicly reveal the culprit, nobody would join the bet again. That's why they're turning a blind eye. She worries about Anya's image and asks Carl what Dessa would think of the bet. If she wouldn't like it, then making the bet feels contradictory. Arit wonders, why would Dessa make this bet? Carl asks Arit if she knows why someone would test the person they love like this, but Arit doesn't have a clue. Back in her bed, her stomach begins to growl, forcing her to get up. At the dining hall, she eyes the pudding but overhears a conversation of 5 people withdrawing from the bet. A wise choice. As she eats, the girls gather at a wall, reading an official notice. They're giving out the antidotes. Everyone gathers in a room where Morris stands waiting. He announces there are a few antidotes due to the rush production, carefully thinking about who should receive them. He adds that the antidotes will be distributed randomly with a new rule. A rule? Guards order them to line up and hand out the antidotes to the first, third, and last rows. A girl tries to drink it right away, but the guard stops her. Morris explains further. The people who receive the antidote can't use it for themselves. This leaves everyone shocked and horrified. He reminds them that breaking the rules will lead to disqualification. What kind of rule is this? Arit leaves empty-handed before a brawl breaks out. As she leaves, she spots 2 unpoisoned girls walking out with the antidote. Gosh, they're so cruel to the participants! While Carl trains, a guard informs him about the twisted antidote setup. Carl asks the guard about the suspect of the food poisoning, warning him not to let their guard down. The bet will get more intense. From afar, he sees Arit waving enthusiastically. He waves back, worrying she'll be the next target. But she stares blankly at him, prompting him to come over. He asks why she called him, but she was just waving. He sighs, then asks her if she's got an antidote. She didn't. He sighs of relief, glad that she won't be the next target. Arit notices his concern and playfully teases him, asking if he likes her. Where does she get this confidence? Irritated, he tells her in a serious tone to come find him if anything happens. But Arit continues to tease him, not taking him seriously. Then she shares how humans are strange. In the palace, Shan is confronted by 3 girls, demanding the antidote she has. Troubled, she turns away and runs. The girls soon argue. As Arit walks through the halls, everyone is desperately fixated on the antidote. In the parlor, girls surround Amelia. Daylin is on her knees, desperately begging Amelia for the antidote. Amelia smirks and says she must bark like a dog first. Does she have to go this far? Suddenly, a woman in the crowd barks loudly, hoping Amelia will hand her the antidote. Amelia turns to her and laughs hysterically, refusing to give it. She says the antidote is for Naka. Seiko tells Amelia to give them the antidote, saying they look pitiful, but Amelia refuses, knowing Seiko isn't any better than her. Arit looks at Seiko, but she swears at her, leaving her stunned. Seiko and Amelia continue to argue, but Arit walks out, refusing to waste her time. As she walks out, Amelia stares at her. I just noticed, Amelia's eyes are purple instead of blue. In the past 3 days, several participants have died from the poison or the antidote, while some voluntarily withdrew, leaving 77 participants left. The Emperor recalls a moment he had with Dessa, remembering his cold, inhuman hands somehow made him lovable in Dessa's eyes. He knows he needs to wrap up the bet. He has 5 years to find her. I wonder if the real Dessa is within the participants. He looks out the window and spots a participant sitting on the garden balcony's fence. It's Arit. Arit is lost in thought. Broken vials are scattered around the palace. They didn't make enough antidotes to save them. More people will die than the amount of broken vials there are. She wonders, does Dessa truly want to stay, even if it means giving up her immortality and powers? She starts to miss Anya. A voice startles her. It's the Emperor. She formally greets him, but he knows she's Arit. She asks how he recognized her despite greeting differently. He says that something is unique about her, making her stand out. He reaches out his hand, inviting her for a walk. He wants to spoil her with nice things, but worries the other participants might target her. She doesn't mind. After all, she's strong. So is Dessa. She hesitates for a moment, feeling uncomfortable while she's holding Dessa's man. He turns to her and shares a secret. He tells her about different forms of love, such as sacrificing everything for the person you love. But this doesn't concern her. Suddenly, he pulls her closer, telling her that letting go of someone isn't love. Two people should hold on to each other, even if it causes them pain. He pulls away with a smile and asks to continue their walk. In Morris's office, Morris orders a guard to put up an official notice. They should move to the next step. Arit walks away, wondering if what the Emperor said is actually love. She recalls how many witches have fallen in love with humans, only to come back heartbroken. That's why many were worried about Dessa. Is love really foolishly giving yourself to someone else? In the end, it wasn't love that let the witches down, it's the humans who use them. But the Emperor's love seems unsettling. She sees an official notice on the wall calling the participants to gather. When she arrives, she sees Morris standing before the crowd. He announces his disappointment over the antidote being used as blackmail. He snaps his fingers and guards enter carrying antidotes. The participants are overjoyed, thinking they'll receive some. But Morris announces they'll be taking back the antidotes that participants have, leaving everyone discouraged. He smirks as the guards smash the antidotes to the ground. Is he out of his mind? Why would Dessa put a witch's mark on a cruel man like him? He fixes his gaze on someone in the crowd. She traces his stare to a girl, looking uneasy. Moments later, the girls exchange whispers about Callisto's death. 75 participants are left. The topic quickly shifts to Anya, who's receiving special treatment from the Emperor. They suspected Anya was Dessa, but if she was Dessa, she could survive all these murderous challenges. Instead, they conclude she's a noble lady. Outside the palace, Arit calls Carl's attention while he's talking to a guard. She throws a small rock at him, but at the right time, his mouth opens and it lands perfectly inside his mouth. They're so cute and funny. The guard performs a Heimlich maneuver, saving his life from choking. She apologizes and quickly asks about Anya's well-being. She informs him that Anya's image is tarnished because she's receiving special treatment. She really is. Since they can't keep her locked up forever, she asks him if he considers sending her out of the castle. That might be the safest thing to do. In the middle of the night, the Emperor welcomes a visitor in his office. It's Anya. In his office, he asks about her experience with the other participants. She replies it's manageable, so she isn't really enjoying it. He apologizes for making her spy on the other participants despite how dangerous it's getting, but she says she's there to help him. So she's a spy. He appreciates her, making her blush. Then he holds her hand and asks her if Arit is Dessa. His doubt is starting to show. Sometimes Arit is like Dessa, but other times she's completely different. Anya looks at him and regretfully admits that she doesn't think Arit is Dessa. Moments later, she quietly heads back to her room with guards escorting her. From a distance, Morris watches her. Anya, the noble lady the Emperor has known since childhood and Carl's sister. He recalls a quick flashback and suspects that Dessa is disguised as Anya. The next day, Carl asks the guards about Anya's well-being. He walks away worried. She shouldn't put herself at risk for the Emperor. He plans to ask Arit to persuade her, but a thought strikes him. Where is Arit from? Suddenly, a loud cry catches his attention. He rushes to where the girls are gathered, only to find a participant dead. Arit stands beside Carl, quietly observing. She remarks that the other participants who died from the food poisoning didn't change color that much, unlike her. She must have been poisoned by something else. Carl asks for her name, and a girl vomiting on the side says she's Eurus. She drank the antidote Seiko gave her. Seiko quickly becomes defensive, explaining it's the antidote the Chancellor gave them. Arit suddenly realizes Seiko is the one who swore at her. The vomiting girl points at Seiko, saying she kept a spare antidote in her room. After giving it to Eurus, she quickly collapsed. Seiko clenches her dress, explaining that Eurus is her closest friend. She would have died if she didn't give her the antidote. Carl asks if she's certain the antidote isn't mixed with something else. He turns to the vomiting girl, Naka. He clarifies that she and Seiko gave something to Eurus. She confirms, saying they handed it over in front of everyone. In front of everyone? The name Naka is familiar to Arit. She pauses and remembers how Amelia reserved the antidote for Naka. Come to think of it, Amelia, Seiko, Naka, and Eurus often hang out as a group. Seiko did mention she's close with Eurus, so Amelia and Naka must be close too. Carl orders the guard to move the body to the laboratory. Arit tries to speak with him, but he walks away without a word, leaving her confused. The physician examines the antidote and informs Carl that it's the bottle's material causing the antidote to become poisonous. No wonder they took back the antidotes. He can't help but wonder, why give out antidotes that are ticking time bombs? The physician examines it further. Judging by the ingredients and how it's made, she's certain Morris designed it. Worried, she looks at Carl and warns him not to oppose Morris too strongly. It might backfire on him. He appreciates her concern, but he can't just stand by and do nothing. Due to the recent events, the hostility shifted to Seiko and she became the target of blame. Arit and Anya reunite with each other, giggling and laughing in the halls. They walk through the garden. Arit asks Anya if she's updated with the recent events in the palace. She replies that Carl has been updating her. Arit informs her that 5 more participants just died, leaving only 69 participants left. Then, Arit brings up Seiko and her friend. Anya asks if she means Eurus, since Amelia, Naka, Seiko, and Eurus hang out as a group. Arit confirms it. She tells Anya that Naka's the one who told Carl that Seiko was the culprit. Anya blushes, then notes that Arit and Carl have been getting closer since he's been mentioning Arit often. No matter what the topic, Carl somehow ends up talking about Arit. She giggles and whispers to Arit that she thinks Carl has feelings for Arit. Arit doesn't believe it. He always denies it whenever she asks. Knowing that she actually asked him makes Anya blush and giggle even more. This is why Anya likes Arit, her courageous spirit. Arit holds Anya's hand, telling her she likes her so much that she can marry Anya. Anya blushes. Whether it's love or friendship, she's certain Carl likes Arit. Arit says she also likes Carl. Suddenly, the Emperor appears out of nowhere. Did he hear their entire conversation? The Emperor lowers his gaze and asks Arit if she actually likes Carl. OMG! Was he eavesdropping? He turns to Anya and says Arit likes her brother. Flustered, she's red as a tomato and starts to stutter. He remarks how she's still as shy as when they were 15. They were friends since kids? Anya runs off, claiming she has a headache. Arit tries to follow, but the Emperor stops her. With his charm, he asks her if she could accompany him. He's not used to being left behind. Arit and the Emperor sit quietly on the bench. He comments on her unhappy expression, but she explains she's just worried about Anya. Confused, he asks why. She explains the food poisoning ruined Anya's reputation. She doesn't want her wandering alone. She wonders if he's also concerned, especially since they've been friends since they were 15. The topic shifts to Carl. He says that he's only seen him a few times, but assures her that Anya is fine. After all, Carl is a knight. His expression changes. He turns to her and asks her again if she likes Carl. She does. He asks if she were Dessa, wouldn't that confession be considered cheating? She explains she doesn't like him in the way he thinks she does. But she really isn't Dessa. He gets up and she casually smacks him. He bursts into laughter and sits back down, saying weird things happen when he's around her, but Arit takes it as a compliment. He looks at her, gently takes her hair, and tells her how she reminds him of Dessa, though knowing she's nothing like her. He asks if she's truly Dessa, then leaves her hanging. He pulls away, leaving her confused. He tries to recall what Dessa is like, but he remembers his mother instead. In the Old Kingdom's capital, maids whisper about the lady in Geranium Palace, the Emperor's unofficial consort. They talk about her sudden death and how the Emperor was smitten by her beauty, even though she started as a maid. However, they pity her. She was restricted from coming and going in that palace and gave birth to the 16th prince who inherited all her beauty, Hartwan. The 16th prince of the former kingdom was born by a woman with extraordinary beauty. She had to fend for herself at a young age. Her beauty became a threat, but her intelligent mind kept her safe. She managed to become a maid in the palace and quickly caught the Emperor's eye. Soon, she became his concubine. 2 years later, she gave birth to their child in a small annex of the palace. After 15 years, she realized this wasn't the life she dreamed of. In the dark night, she was found dead in her room, clenching her chest. Time passed and the palace held a royal banquet. However, guests found it tacky and outdated, but they couldn't refuse the invitation. They're eager to see someone. Moments later, Hartwan appears, captivating the guests. Several nobles are eager to claim him. Count Padma is even willing to spend half of his fortune to have Hartwan. Young Carl asks his father why the nobles are so worked up. His father replies that Hartwan is the key to the next throne that could turn the whole kingdom upside down. However, Carl is disgusted by the fact that Hartwan is treated like an object. In the crowd, Hartwan is greeted by the second prince, Wilford. He asks if Hartwan could secure the mining rights in the northern region. It'll greatly benefit them. Hartwan responds practically, saying saving money instead of throwing parties will help them more than securing uncertain mining rights. The second prince pours his wine over Hartwan's head, reminding him to be grateful. Suddenly, an old woman reaches out her handkerchief to him and takes him to a private balcony. He expresses his gratitude, and the lady seizes the chance to talk to him about an opportunity, as he expected. She shares her love for beautiful items, saying she must have them, but even if she gathered all her beautiful items, it won't compare to Hartwan's beauty. She leans in closer, promising him to give the greatest power in the kingdom, the title Duke of Wentworth, if he goes with her to the Wentworth estate. He expresses his gratitude for her generous offer, but his brother might object to it. She assures him that she'll handle his brothers and asks him to take his time in considering the offer. Before she leaves, she gives him a token of goodwill. Once she departs, he stares blankly at the present. The Duchess of Wentworth may have wealth and power, but she's so annoying. He wonders, should he live as a doll like his mother to survive? Moments later, he enters a room and finds a red-haired girl crying. He asks her if she's okay and informs her about other ladies gathering in the next chamber. That's young Anya! She wipes her tears and tells him the other ladies commented on her plain jewelry. Intrigued, he gives her the present Duchess Wentworth gave to him and walks away. It's no use to him. The girl opens it, revealing a pair of bright pink earrings. Arit happily greets Anya, wondering why she rushed off from the Emperor. She apologizes and asks if the Emperor thought she was acting strange. Her face begins to turn red and Arit realizes. Does Anya like the Emperor? She frantically denies while blushing. Anya is so cute. At the dining hall, Arit fills her plate with different kinds of food. She guesses people don't want to withdraw simply because the food is too delicious. While Arit and Anya chat about food, Arit overhears whispers the other girls are exchanging. The bet is nearing its end. She listens closely and hears the Emperor's been calling a girl for dates. Some suspect she's Dessa. She even apologized for involving everyone in the bet. She pauses from eating her food, knowing that's something Dessa would say. She remembers their conversation in the garden when he suspects Arit as Dessa. As she wonders, some girls celebrate knowing the brutal bet will come to an end, while others share their disappointment. She glances at Anya, who stays unbothered while eating her food. Rumor has it that the real Dessa is Selena from the Crown Prince's palace. Arit doesn't expect to see her, but surprisingly, she spots her in the garden. Selena's walk and demeanor are elegant, just like Dessa. She turns back and locks eyes with Arit. Could she be the real Dessa? Did she recognize a fellow witch like her? She shrugs it off. Witches can't tell each other apart when their magic is hidden, but then again, Dessa is special. Behind her, Anya stares blankly. Arit turns back and asks Anya to confirm if Selena is Dessa. Based on some old memory, only they'd know since she's met Dessa a few times. She reluctantly agrees and approaches Selena. Suddenly, Arit's suspicion of Anya returns. As Anya and Selena chat, Arit finds herself starstruck by Anya's elegance. But no matter how elegant she is, she's still Karl's sister, not Dessa. Anya returns to Arit, but Arit has a bitter expression, assuming the girls are talking behind Anya's back. Arit asks about their conversation and if Anya brought up something only she and Dessa would know, but Anya didn't, worried her identity might be revealed if she asked something specific. Man, that was the point she asked you to approach her! Anya apologizes, but Arit thanks her. Suddenly, she remembers she said something similar when she revealed her identity without hesitation. Back in bed, she wonders if Selena is the real Dessa, if only she could use her magic. But she fears Dessa's anger if she finds out she's interfering with the bet. In the Emperor's office, the Emperor lies on the couch, lost in his thoughts. Morris pays him a visit and informs him about the circulating rumor. He found Dessa. The Emperor smirks and gets up, asking Morris to explain. Back in the parlor, Anya informs Arit about the news. They're merging the East and West Palace. Arit wonders why they're doing this. Are they doing this to manage everyone easier, or to spark a bigger incident with everyone in one place? Suddenly, they notice Rosalie, who's always in a bad mood and doesn't get along well with others. Back in the Emperor's office, Morris tells the Emperor about Selena claiming to be Dessa. The Emperor chuckles upon hearing this. Morris continues, saying she knows a lot of things that regular people don't know of Dessa. She might be a close friend of Dessa. The Emperor stays unbothered, letting things unfold. If Selena stirs trouble, he knows Dessa will step in. If she doesn't, he knows she has her reasons. He gets up and stretches, suspecting the real Dessa is someone acting unlike her. As he stretches, curiosity sparks and he orders Morris to summon Selena. He chuckles, knowing Dessa would never leave him. So guys, what do you think of this story so far? Please subscribe and turn on notifications for updates on this and all our other stories, so you can be the first to find out when they're out. Thank you so much for your support. See you in the next one!